Once again, the College Football Hall of Fame class is out, and look at the members that are in. You know all the Big Ten names, but there's some big ones outside of it. Maybe none bigger with a non-Big Ten tie than the coaches. Frank Beamer and Mac Brown both going in. Also, that Calvin Johnson fella did a few things with the wide receiver position.
Ed Reed wasn't bad either.
Ed Reed had a nice career. He did well, too. Hey, Tom Dienhart is our senior writer at BTN.com, and he's covered the Big Ten for, forever. So he's seen all these Big Ten guys. He's joining us for some perspective on this. And let's start off, Tom, with Charles Woodson. The word unique gets thrown around a lot. It has to mean one of a kind to really fit the description it's supposed to. I think it fits with Charles Woodson, no?
Yeah, Mike, he had to do something special back in 1997 to win the Heisman Trophy over a guy named Peyton Manning. So that really angered a lot of Tennessee fans, as you can imagine. But, again, what Woodson did that year was phenomenal. Not only, of course, as a cornerback, but catching passes and as a return man. I'll never forget the game. The finale, this will hurt Stanley, but the finale against Ohio State, when he ran a pump back, that just sort of wrapped it all up for Woodson.
So, Tom, talk about that era. Because it's very difficult to win a Heisman as a defensive player. So when in that season did you realize that Charles was going to win it?
Stan, I remember I was even in East Lansing the day the Wolverines went over there, and Woodson, you guys recall, you've probably seen the highlight, the spectacular one-handed interception. He was on the radar before that, had been gaining momentum. That was another, signature play in the season. And like I said, I think he really wrapped it up in a lot of people's minds in that finale against Ohio State. So, again, he's been gaining momentum all year. A play like that just really accentuated it.
Before I leave Woodson's topic, you brought up something so fascinating that I forgot about a little bit. Tell me a little more about what you remember about the Heisman race that year, because Peyton Manning, not only one of the greatest quarterbacks in the history of the sport, but it was so good in college too, and going up against a defensive player in Woodson. What do you remember about that derby back then?
Yeah, again, it was neck and neck all year. The last couple Heisman races hasn't been a lot of drama, but that was the year, Mike, I do recall. There was a lot of drama. Nobody really knew who the winner was going to be when they announced in New York City that year. I also believe Randy Moss was in the race that year, too. Nobody thought he was going to win it, but still, just another sensational talent that was in college football in that 1997 season. So, again, a very exciting race, one that came right down to the end. And to this day, like I said, a lot of Tennessee fans are still very upset.
And one of the casualties of the old bowl system is a team like Penn State in 1994 went 12-0 and didn't even have a shot to claim a national championship. Tom, how good was that Nittany Lion offense with Kerry Collins at QB back then?
I sent a tweet out today, Mike. That to me, you don't want to have overstatements, but again, that to me was one of the best offenses I think the Big Ten has seen the last 30 years. Penn State was a relative newcomer to the Big Ten. That was only their second year playing football in the conference, but what an introduction. Kerry Collins was just the tip of the iceberg for a Penn State offense. You had Kajana Carter, Kyle Brady, Bobby Ingram. They were just an explosive attack that went on and beat Oregon in the Rose Bowl that year. Just a lot of fun. And, of course, Collins was a trigger man, guys. And also, a good little piece of tidbit for you, Kerry Collins is the last Big Ten quarterback to be a first-round NFL draft pick.
That's right. That's right. That's true.
That's amazing. Well, they ran a pro set, so they ran an offense that would translate to the NFL. But what were some of the things that really stood out to you, Tom, about Kerry's game?
The ability to throw the ball downfield, I think, explosive. For years, with that Penn State offense, it was always typically pedestrian, an offense that was going to lean on running the football. We all know the roll call of great Penn State running backs over the years. And, again, Kajana Carter is one of the best. But what made this Penn State offense special, again, was Kerry Collins' ability to throw the ball downfield, get vertical with a guy like Bobby Ingram. You combine that with Kajana Carter and a good offensive line, you have, again, like I said, one of the best offenses we've seen in the Big Ten in, like I said, 25 or 30 years.
Yeah, that Penn State team, pretty remarkable. And what you pointed out, too, is their second year. They're still learning to be in the Big Ten, and it was one of the best teams that school's ever had. I'd say, personally, I have vivid memory of Dana Howard and that orange and blue defense. The 90s, they had some powerful defensive players, and maybe they didn't all go on to have electric NFL careers, but what do you remember about the bruising nature of Dana Howard?
You're starting to date yourself, Mike. Yeah, I know. It's funny. A lot of fans probably can't remember or even realize that there was a time when Illinois was pretty gosh darn good. And And that was that era, the end of John Malkovich, the first 2 years of Lou Tepper. They had some great defensive players. Dana Howard was sort of like Sam Mills, the old New Orleans Saints linebacker, a shorter guy, but a very aggressive hitter. And like you said, Mike, he was one of many outstanding Illinois defensive players there. Kevin Hardy, of course, was a great linebacker. Derek Brownlow, Mel Agee, John Holisek, Henry Jones. I mean, there was a litany of great Illinois defensive players, and Howard was the guy that was really leading the charge.
Well, there's no question he led the charge. He came into the Horseshoe and guaranteed a win in '94, delivered. You saw the interception he had there. So what do you remember about his leadership style? Because there was a group of guys that were a little rogue, but he kept them together, and they played really well. Yeah, that's the key. You can have all the talent in the world, but if you don't have a guy like Howard who can sort of keep it all together, you know, it's really not going to be an effective group. And again, in addition to being a terrific on-field player, like you said, Stanley, Dana was a guy who led a lot by example, not a real super rah-rah guy, but more of a follow-me-if-you-was actions guy. So, again, he was special. And one other guy I forgot to mention, remember a defensive end by the name of Simeon Wright?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah. They were so good.
The Ab brothers.
Oh, my goodness.
Wear their shirts up.
That's
like
right, the short shirts. I think that's the thing, Tom, that's interesting. I mean, you look at these guys. Aaron Taylor won 3 national titles. You got Charles won a national title. Kerry went undefeated. But Dana didn't go on a team that won a Big Ten title, make national headlines. Is that why you think Dana and maybe some of those other guys are a little more forgotten on the national scene?
Yeah, it's like that even in I think for the NFL Hall of Fame, too, guys. Even the Major League Baseball Hall of Fame, if you don't have championships, a lot of times you're always going to get denigrated when it comes to some of these post-career honors. And certainly I think that's the reason why, you know, a guy like Dana Howard from a team like Illinois that never really won a Big Ten title or played for a national championship. Sometimes it takes these guys longer to get in. But I always love it when guys like that finally get their time in the spotlight and get their recognition.
147 tackles or more every year for Dana Howard. Pretty amazing. Hey, Tom Dienhart, you are one of the smartest, most informed guys in the Big Ten, past and present. Thanks for your time, man. We appreciate it.
You guys are the best. Stay warm. Thanks for having me.
Will do.